Where we once had rows and students were to sit and be quiet and face front, we now have many different possibilities and scenarios where students are working together or working on their own or working with a teacher. The ability to have choice and movement and collaboration are key for today's students in learning. Last year we spent a lot of time discussing culturally responsive teaching, which basically means you're meeting the child where they are, you're valuing their experiences, and considering their learning styles, not only when it comes to lesson planning, but also when it comes to setting up your classroom. So classrooms in the elementary wing have three main components. There's a meeting area. Many lessons would happen there, or the morning meetings. Normally kids will sit on the floor. Then there's the collaborative work areas, so there's either circular tables or 4 desks to make a group where the kids will go and do their independent work or explore things together. And then there'll be another area where there'll be some conferencing happening, and we have U-shaped tables where that will take place. A teacher has a place to pull a student aside and do some explicit instruction. It's all interconnected, so the differentiation happens more naturally and seamlessly.
I'm seeing 4 jobs that you need to do today. Get started right away. Stay in one spot.
What we saw in one of our classes is a teacher actually explicitly teaching the students what happens in each section of the room and what the students' jobs are. And she had students model what it looked like. And that's important, especially in the first few weeks of school, is to establish those routines and procedures. Another piece to the classroom configuration is having things that just help students know what their day is going to look like. So having a visual schedule. If they know what's coming next, sometimes it's easier to pass that time. They can stay engaged because they know that recess is coming next, or they can stay engaged because they know that music is coming next. And they're not interrupting the teacher, asking what's next. They can see for themselves. Another thing that you would see is a chart identifying helpers of the week. It can be quite chaotic if you just ask for a volunteer, because everybody wants to volunteer to sharpen the pencils or to get the supplies or to put the stickers on the chart. So by having a chart and a schedule where students are designated a job, it cuts down on a lot of unnecessary drama that gets in the way of learning. You may have noticed the different labels on the book bins in our grade 3 classroom, and it had titles such as fantastic or awesome. They were cool adjectives to describe what was in those bins of books. What the students don't know is those bins are actually leveled, but rather than the teacher saying go and get a level 1 book or a level B book, she can say, why don't you go grab one of those amazing books? It has less of a negative connotation. There's still little reading corners or reading nooks in the classroom where there's a comfy spot where a kid can choose to curl up with the book and read on their own. In most of our elementary classes, you'll see little boxes. Students use those to gather the supplies that they need for the day, rather than having all of their supplies with them at their desk for the whole day, which can be kind of distracting. In grade 5s and 6s, as mature students are able to handle, but it's also a nice opportunity to be able to get up and change seats. So in the 5-6 room, we still have the circle tables for the group work. We still have the U-shaped table for the conferencing, but there's also a couple individual desks for students who may need some space to themselves. And there's also the section in the middle, the circular table that's low to the ground with the mats, where students are free to sort of pick up and work in that location if they just feel a little restless or they want a change of scenery. They really seem to benefit from it because they're able to make a positive choice if they're feeling uncomfortable or tired or restless. But what I hear from them is it's cool, it's fun. Those statements tell me that they're engaged. We're a primary to 9 school, and the possibilities are a little bit different in junior high because the kids are larger and the desks are larger, but the classroom sizes are pretty much the same. So you don't have the same freedom to configure things the way you might if you had smaller kids, but that doesn't mean you still can't arrange it in a way that promotes conversations and group work. So in our math room, you'd see two horseshoe configurations, one inside the other. Again, that promotes conversations and group work. When I go through the building and I see these classrooms in their unconventional or non-traditional configurations, it reminds me, I guess, of the importance that the physical space has on the child's ability to learn. In addition to how we set up our classroom, culturally responsive pedagogy can also be applied to the school as a whole, starting with what students see as they first enter the doors. What a better message for students to see as they enter the school than to read this, because it really embodies what we believe here as a staff. When you enter this loving school, consider yourself one of the special members of an extraordinary family.